everybody? This is the On Blast podcast. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to On Blast official page on Facebook, Instagram, and go to OB Podcast on TikTok.
Wow, Ira, well done. Did you rehearse that?
No, actually.
No?
No.
That was well done. I gotta say.
It was. Look, I gotta attribute that to DNC and doing performances, you know, because I talk with people on a normal basis every single day.
Okay.
So, you get good at your craft.
What I used to tell you, it's like you're on stage.
In a bit of a way, yeah.
I'm so happy, Ira, to be back and on blast with you. We missed last week.
Yeah, we gave everybody a break.
Yeah, we figured everyone needed a break, and we didn't really put out any news regarding that, but it was Easter, and I think it goes without saying, on Easter we all spend time with our family. We want to chill out, and it was nice to have that time to do that. So last week we were not on blast. We might have been on blast somewhere else.
Oh, right? I mean, we were on blast searching for the Easter Bunny.
Maybe you were searching for the Easter Bunny.
I'm looking for the Easter Bunny every year. Well, as a kid, some asshole always ate the fucking ears off of my chocolate bunnies. And so, like, from when I was born all the way up until I was about 12 years old, I did not have ears on my bunnies.
I'm appalled for you. What the fuck?
I was appalled every single fucking year because I had no ears.
You know, that's fucked up, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, that's child torture.
So what I did
that's
this year.
That's a case.
Yes, that's something that we definitely have to get reported. I remember back when I turned 18, it was a very troubling year for me. Not so much because I was now becoming a man, but more so because when Christmas came, I no longer got a stocking. And when Easter came, I no longer got a fucking basket.
That's called growing into a man.
Let me tell you something about what that did to my psyche growing up since then. I think that's where it might have gone downhill for me. When I stopped getting the Easter baskets, I'm pretty upset about it.
Well, it looks like Bella's on there.
Yeah, Bella, that's tough. Yeah, it is. Look, kid, Bella's 14. Yeah, it's tough because.
And she. I bet you got your Easter Bunny ears.
Oh yeah, and she chewed on them for days. But don't you worry. I made every last effort the night before, and into the morning of Easter. The Easter Bunny left. He always leaves jelly beans around the house.
Are you sure they're jelly beans?
Well, if you ever seen that one movie with the rabbit, it's actually poop, the jelly beans.
Yes. That's like a unicorn farting rainbows.
I wasn't concerned. The jelly beans were fucking good. Anyway.
As long as it tastes good. I mean, if you're eating shit, it might as well taste good.
I have this habit of waking up in the night and munching. I've always done it. I will always do it. So I since I don't get my Easter basket, how I get even with the Easter Bunny these days is, when he drops off his jelly beans around the house, I'll come through and go, okay, I'll take one of these, I'll take one of those, I'll take one of these. So
Bella is accusing you of stealing half of her candy. What's that about, Anthony?
Accusations are accusations. They're just that. They have they're empty. Okay, they're not concrete. She has no grounds for these allegations against me, and frankly, I can't be concerned. I can't be concerned unless she wants to testify in court. I didn't fucking do it, man. But damn, those Sour Patch Kids were good. Anyway,
Were you like this?
You left another dryer there.
I was sucking down Sour Patch Kids, which I really enjoyed. So that's what I got for Easter. Did you get anything for Easter?
My dad got me a wallet. It was an awesome wallet. I needed one so bad too, because my other one was just like completely falling apart.
Wow. So you actually got a present.
I got a present that I wasn't expecting. I mean, I wasn't.
Well,
like, I'm gonna be honest. I was not ready for Easter at all. Like, I completely thought it was at the end of the month, And literally like 2 days before I found out it's in 2 days, I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck?
I think,
You know?
I think that's a very good representation of what it's like growing up. 2 days before, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck? More for me, it's more like 10 minutes before. I'm like, oh damn, that's in 10 minutes. Whoops. So,
What you eating?
a granola bar.
Granola bar.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Sure. Or is it one of those
Go ahead.
super sugared Rice Krispie treats?
You're
You
a
gotta
real
eat the
dick.
regular ones. You gotta eat the regular ones.
Guys, Ira should be Crispy Treats brand ambassador. He is a big fan of the Crispy Treats. He actually turned me on to Crispy Treats, something I haven't eaten in well over a decade. And I found myself in the gas station last week and had to snap a picture for my buddy Ira of a Crispy Treat I bought. And I enjoyed it. Let me tell you, all 40 grams of those carbs, I enjoyed.
Well, the thing is, though, it's like just the regular ones, they're actually really healthy, believe it or not. Like, because they have the optimal amount of carbs, which is not too high, very low sugar. You know, the fat is very low. And it's only 90 calories per crispy. You know, so, I mean, they're actually very healthy. But once you start adding all the other stuff in there, like M&Ms and all that other shit, like, you defeat the purpose of what they can do for you healthy-wise.
I feel attacked. Mine had M&Ms on it.
They did.
I feel attacked. I think you're attacking me. But yeah, the crispy treats are great. Oh, Ira, I will not pass up an opportunity to come whoop that ass, boy. I don't care how big you are.
I can gorilla press him. We'll have so much fun. I've been waiting for the day.
Oh no, Ira, you know.
Because here's the thing. You were my boss when we worked at GNC, so I couldn't fuck you up then.
Oh, okay.
You know,
can't wait to hear this.
Let's go.
Now it's game on.
I mean, if you want the padding, I'm all for it.
Go to hell. When I was younger, we didn't know it, but we went out to what was called Lions Field in New York. My brother and all of our friends. Not to get too sidetracked here, and we got boxing gloves. We were like 12 and 13 years old, and everyone that had a problem would come to Lions Field, and they would just beat the hell out of each other. Like, it was totally normal. Like, it made no sense. If you did that today, game over. You're going to jail. Like,
yeah,
game over. So back in the day,
that was like when we used to settle disputes. Like, we used to fight in my backyard.
There you go.
Here's my dad. Get him! Get the fuck up.
Dad, #1 supporter. Always has been, always will be. I love it. He's the best. So, Ira, we were talking about journaling last week.
I think we're going to switch gears this week. I think we lost the adage for the journaling. I mean, we dove pretty deep into the journaling, and we got some better something better to go about.
So we do have something. Let me tell you, first and foremost, I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited for the next couple of weeks for the Out Blast podcast. We have so many things planned. I want to start by saying we have decided to go full on legit. We are getting our logos and everything made up.
Yes,
This is something that is a big step. It's a commitment. It's a commitment to us. It's a commitment to our following. Because believe it or not, Ira, even if we only have 20 followers, this is where people go wrong. That's a following, and that's meant to be taken very seriously. These are people
every person matters.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people really don't think very highly of that. But
All right, I'll be over. Thank you.
Uh-oh. Do we have commentary? Hello.
Our fucking clothes again.
Oh. So, look at Ira's face.
My favorite brown.
Where was I going? Oh, anyway, we got the logos, which I ordered, Ira, weeks ago, and the guy is the elusive unicorn, gone without he can't be found.
He's on.
Oh, we got Saint on the horn. Hello,
Oh, yes.
Saint. Always a proud day to have Saint on with us. Always a proud day. Very, very happy to see you, Saint. We love Saint, right, Ira? He's good people.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, he's good people. You got to keep good people around because they're far and few in between. So, again, back to the logos. This guy that I contacted, I'm having a real rough time getting our order fulfilled. But once it does get fulfilled, I think there's going to be some exciting things coming for the podcast. Okay. So there's that. And then next week, we'll be going into 420. Okay. So we have something special planned. Right, Ira?
Yeah, we do.
So we will not be disclosing this episode what is exactly planned, but we assure you it will be well worth the wait because I'm going to have so much fun with that episode. And then today's episode, the most important part. Now, Ira, maybe we should do like a series on this episode. What do you think?
I think so.
I think this.
Part 2, the epilogue, the prologue,
Oh,
foreshadowing.
I forgot Ira's a writer, guys, and I love writing, but Ira's clearly much more sophisticated than I.
I'm a writer.
Apparently. I don't know any of
Look,
this.
I just know things. I don't know how I know them. I just know them.
We are the sum of everything that we know. That's all we are. That is all we are. We are thieves. We steal ideas and words and looks and thought processes. I do it all the time. I literally act the things I see because I love them so much. I'm like, I want to keep this. I want it to be a part of me. Like, this is great. Why don't I want this to be a part of me? So today, we're going to be diving into relationships. Ira's so dramatic. Hey, anyone who's watching, make sure you guys tell Ira, don't be so dramatic. Okay? But this is a big one. I don't know where Ira's at with it, but for me, this is something that I've been putting off for a while now. And I think it can shed a lot of light into a lot of people's lives. Not just so much as, and this definitely ties into last week, I mean the week prior, where we were talking about journaling, how we get things off of our chest. The podcast is our journal, okay? We have a great platform to talk and influence and really educate our following. So we're gonna be doing relationships today. Ira, you got the whole list of questions I asked you to make up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where should we start? Where do you start? I mean, I don't even know how the fuck I want to go into that.
So, I mean, a good starting point would be, what's your mindset now?
Ooh. That's tough. There's a lot of moving parts there, okay? And I think that there's a lot of moving parts for a lot of people that have gone through a relationship, whether it was their best relationship or their worst relationship. I try not to rank my relationships because all my relationships are extremely important to me. None outweighing the next, I don't believe. I think if you mean the world to me, you mean the world to me. It's very simple. As for my mindset, I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. I'm not the same person I was a year ago. I'm not the same person, right? I'm just not. I am not at all the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm hardly the fucking guy I was yesterday. Okay? And that's my mindset. I can't be concerned with what happened yesterday because if I am, like I have been the last couple of weeks, I'll be honest. The last couple of weeks, I've been in my feels in the past. I've been living the past. I've been reminiscing. I've been thinking, I've been dreaming, I've been concocting ideas of fucking grandeur. I've done it, and we've all done it. It's I think how we cope. I don't know.
All through insomnia.
All through insomnia. Everyone knows I like to live off of no sleep. Team no sleep. Thank you. There it is. Ira knows a thing or two about, sleepless nights. But the mindset is you're not the person you were yesterday. And I think it's really important to note that you need to be marginally better than you were yesterday. And if I live in the past, okay, because you can keep looking in the past, but the saddest part is nothing will change. The past is the past, okay? And it is extremely hard, especially for me. I went through the most traumatic 2 years of my life. I've gone through some shit before it, but the last 2 years have been traumatic. I was traumatized.
Let me ask you, what in the 2 years, and you don't have to go far into detail, but what in the 2 years has been, that dramatic, like that traumatic?
It was a combination of things. My relationships are literally my life. I could live in a shoe, but if I have my 5 favorite people, that is all that matters to me. And this last couple years, my relationships were flying out the window. They were leaving quick. And when you have to look at someone, first and foremost, my dad fucking died, so I lost a parent. And anyone that's ever lost a parent, I hope you don't for a long time, but when it happens, it sucks. It just sucks. Okay? It is disheartening in the least. It is the worst experience ever. You are numb to the world around you, and nothing makes you feel better but time. Time is the only thing that will heal that kind of feeling. I don't care how high you get, if you hit the fucking lottery, I don't care. Nothing will fix it. It happened, and you have to face it head on. Okay? And that's what I did with my dad passing. It didn't help that growing up, my relationship with him wasn't the best, but we mended things over the years, which thank God, because otherwise I would have been living with even more regret. But moving into, my relationship with Danielle, traumatic. I mean, I think that's a severe understatement. I mean, there's so many different nuances to what is happening and what had happened in that relationship. I had just lost my parent, and now I was rocky with my wife, my ride or die, my person, my forever, because I didn't get married to get divorced. It wasn't in my deck of cards. It just wasn't. It wasn't ever. It wasn't even a fucking thought. I thought if there was anything that happened, we could overcome it. We could get past it. And
I mean, that's the point of marriage, you know what I mean? Like, one hand washes the other. You guys watch each other's backs. You got each other's backs, but unfortunately, the mindsets were not meshing. She was on one page. You were on a whole other page.
I've given it a lot.
Unfortunately, her page was more of on a, behind your back type of thing, whereas you is more so you were absent for a little while, basically to clear your fucking head, so you don't. I had to be.
I had to be if I wasn't. Yeah, if I wasn't absent, I had to be. I am mentally a very strong individual. There is very few things in this world that bother me. Very few. I mean, there's no better way to put it. Not many things bother me, and it was the first time in my entire relationship with Danielle and over the last 10 years that I thought I need to focus on me for just a fucking second. Do you know what happened the second I made that choice?
Oh my God.
You know what happened?
I know, but why don't you let our viewers know?
My life crumbled before my eyes. The second I stopped giving 1,000% to everything and all these people in my life that were giving me shit. The second I said, I'm going to focus on me, the second I said, I need to do it for me, the second I said, I need to live for me, the second that I needed a second just to fucking breathe, just to breathe, these people turned their backs on me. Like that. How?
Glass half full. Glass half full. Okay. It allowed you to see what you needed to see in these people to realize that, you know, they weren't there really with you. Unfortunately, it was some very, very close individuals.
You could paint the picture however you like it, and I'm not saying you're wrong, because you're certainly right. But I needed a minute for me.
Yes.
And I don't think
the thing is, those people need to respect that. They got to respect that. Like, when you need to take a step back and say, this is for me, I need this, people need to listen.
Ira,
I finally told me.
I was dealing with a closet grandiose narcissist, Ira. I was dealing with somebody I was in love with, okay? This was my life. Danielle was my life. I'm not scared to fucking admit that.
I can attest to that.
She was my life. Anyone that doesn't know anything about me, you know, Danielle and I, she was my life. I would have done anything for her, and I did. But that one time, I needed to take a step back, and I needed to focus on, you know, my family, and of course Danielle, because she was just as upset. My dad looked at Danielle like his daughter. You know, that's how my dad was. That's how our family is. You know, it was heartbreaking. It was truly one of the most heartbreaking times of my life, having my wife mad at me a day after my dad died. How could you be? How could you be mad at somebody that just lost their parent? I had so many questions already. It was like I had fell into a black fucking hole, and all of a sudden nothing made sense. Everything that I thought I had figured out was gone. It was done. Fucking gone. And I was with a narcissist, essentially. I don't know how else to explain that kind of behavior. And I'm no trained psychologist, make no mistake. But I spent a lot of time with Danielle, and if it's one thing I'm good at, I make sure I understand people. It's important that I understand people. It's so important to me. I can't understand everybody, but I do a damn good job trying. And you know, it was a traumatic time, experiencing you know, that kind of heartbreak, and that was just the beginning of the end for my relationship. You know, thereafter my dad passed.
What came after that?
What do you mean? Like after my dad passed?
In terms of succession of events.
There was a serious disconnect. What do you mean? For me, it's hard to explain that sixth sense. And I follow my sixth sense very, very religiously. It's not anything that you can put on paper and say, this is it. It's, okay, I got this feeling, something's going on, something happened. It's like fucking everything kind of shifts. And I was fighting a really rough battle in my head. I was at work, and I was struggling really hard with work at the time because I was kind of losing my drive to do what I was doing. And because I was already in a bad spot relationship-wise. And then my dad passed, and from there, COVID. I mean, COVID was the big thing. Me and Danielle spent a lot of time home. And as far as our relationship, I was so excited to spend time with her. I was so excited. I couldn't have been happier knowing that I got to spend every single day with that girl. I couldn't have been. There wasn't any more energy in my body that could have been more thrilled to spend time with my number one person. But every day I heard how she wasn't number one. There was a lot of complexity to the issues that were going on inside the relationship. And, you know, one thing followed by another. I mean, just weird things started to happen for me. And Danielle looked at me one day, and for anyone that's watching and is curious, Danielle is fully aware that I was going to be speaking about her on the podcast. And I don't have any intention of bad-mouthing a person because it's just not necessary. But this is my story. This is my life. And I think that it can shed a lot of light to people's current relationships and their past relationships and certainly their future relationships, because you have to be more conscious of the people you are involved with. They always say you can tell about, who you are by looking at who your 5 closest people are. And, Danielle looked at me one day after my dad died, and as soon as she asked me this, I knew it was over. I knew it. I didn't say it to her, but it was like something clicked. She looked at me and said, well, what about me? And my brain fucking self-destructed. I could not believe my ears. I could not believe my fucking ears. Everything I was going through. And I don't care to make public some of the things that me and Danielle did go through, but our entire relationship was her fighting a really sick battle in her head with a lot of the, things that she was dealing with. And I wanted to make sure I was always there for her. I made a point to never let her think I wasn't. I went well out of my way to make that point. And here I am. I needed her most, and she turned her back on me. And I think a lot of people need to recognize who the hell is in their circle. I'm not saying you got to call your wife up and, get a divorce, but you need to look around and be more conscious with who you're involved with, because, people have some things going on that are really dark and really scary. And if you don't control them, things get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, I mean, when the ball of yarn starts unraveling, it unravels. I see you finally got a gal.
Well, I'm a big kid now, Ira.
Hey.
But anyway, the succession of events, I mean, the relationship was tough. We were experiencing some really rocky waters, and I didn't think much of it. I thought maybe my initial thought, this wasn't going to work. When she asked me that question, I thought, this is my wife. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to force. I said to her, Danielle, I said, I'm going to drag you across the fucking finish line if I have to. I'm going to do that for you, for me, for everybody.
That's dedication.
Oh, I was, Ira, you don't get in my way. Even my wife, I looked at her every fucking day, and I knew that a lot of the things we were arguing and a lot of the things that were going on had deeper problems. She went through a lot, and she took things growing up very differently than I did. I went through a lot, and I said, I will never be the sum of those issues that I went through. And I'm that kind of person that is, more forward. And, Danielle was very much so not able to do that. And that was okay, but, she carried baggage with her that really weighed her down. And I felt it for her. I did.
Right.
I felt it. She was my wife, man. I loved her. I did. And I know a lot of people feel that way in their current relationships, where they love the hell out of their person. And I don't want to go too far.
Pardon me 1 second.
Sure.
Sweet, I'm on my podcast, and you're coming in here letting the ferrets in. Get the ferrets and please go out. You're interrupting my podcast, sweetie.
Ira's about to bring the hammer down, guys. Ira does
No, it's just it's since the beginning of the podcast started, everybody in the house is being completely rude.
One of those
slamming
days.
Doors. Yeah, it's one of those days.
It's all right. It's all right. The followers, they don't mind. They look, dude, we're average motherfuckers having a podcast, okay? I'm in the shed, Ira. Ain't no one bothering me out here except fucking Sasquatch. Okay? But
Your she shed?
my she shed. Don't you worry about my she shed, Ira. But But it was tough. Danielle went through a lot of things, and I won't ever take that away from a person, because the things that she went through, I thought nothing of, but I knew that they were her world, so they meant something to me. Okay, that's love, man. But it wasn't reciprocated. It made it very difficult.
Why do you think it wasn't reciprocated? And I want you to really think on that one, because, from, like, you and I have talked in depth about a lot of this.
Yeah.
And more so, I've gotten your opinion on how you felt, or what you were translating it. But if you were, what you know now, but you also put yourself in her shoes at that time, where do you think she really was up here?
It probably wasn't reciprocated for a number of reasons. I mean, if I was a psychologist, I would go as far back to her infancy. Honestly, this is how much things meant to Danielle. That's the person she was. She took things very personally, and they bothered her. And whether or not she acknowledged them, they were there, and they were weighing her down, which meant they trickled into every other aspect of our lives. Ours. It wasn't just her life anymore. We came together and got married. It was my life now, and I was feeling the effects of it. And I had to ask myself, and I really had to dig. Honestly, I had to dig, and I think for a number of reasons, maybe it wasn't reciprocated, because I oftentimes said, I'm giving 1,000% here. What the fuck? Why am I not getting why is my return on investment so awful? Like, I'm giving, but I'm just not getting anything in return. Relationships are a funny thing. And looking back now, you could draw up a lot of conclusions about what went wrong and what went right, but I was hard on Danielle. I was tough. I'm tough.
Do you think it was deserving, though?
I don't know. I probably not. If maybe I should have just let her do whatever the hell she wanted. Would that have made
that kind of is what happened anyway.
Well, that's why it's hard to say. Was I right or wrong? I don't know. Maybe I was just so much of a prick. I don't know. In Danielle's eyes, it would be hard to understand. But for me, I was constantly challenging her, and not in a bad way. For me, delivering that piece of information, she received it as a bad way, but I delivered it as, this is my wife. I want her to be the best person she can be. Because if I'm going to be the best, I need her to be on my level. I need her to come with me. I need her to be my ride or die. I need her to be stronger than me. I need her to know that she can be stronger than me. And the conversation I'm having with you right now was very similar to the conversations that I would have with her. Danielle, I want you to do better. I want you to feel better. I want you to do whatever it takes to get to that point. What will it take? What should we do? Is it something I'm an over-communicator.
And how were those messages received, though?
As insults, attacks on her character. They were not received most times.
All right. So let me pause you there. Now, you're clearly you know her, and you know how she's going to receive a message. Now, do you think there was any underlying notion, knowing you're going to say it a certain way, that it's going to dig at her, like out of spite?
Absolutely. I'm not an idiot, but I didn't do things out of spite. I knew exactly what I needed to say, how it needed to be sent for her to receive it. I manipulated the hell out of the conversation so that she could see it clearly. And sometimes it worked. It worked. Sometimes. Not often. But if I worked at it for 200 days out of the year and I got one good goddamn day, it was well worth the wait. It was well worth it. It absolutely was. I could have manipulated things out of spite, but I wasn't that person. I can't sleep at night knowing that people like that exist.
Well, I mean, that's not your character anyway.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. If I don't like you and I think you're a piece of shit, I'll just say I don't like you and I think you're a piece of shit, and like that will be a very simple conversation. But more for me, my wife, okay? Because look, my parents didn't work out when I was younger, and I think a lot of people are in that boat. Oh, my parents got a divorce, so now I'm destined to be a loser. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, or maybe your parents just weren't around, or maybe your parents were married and perfect. I mean, it can go a million different ways, but for me, my parents didn't get married. And I grew up a little boy thinking I'm going to be the best daddy. I'm going to be the best husband. I'm going to be the best. I don't care what it takes. So when I got married, I was fucking 100% on board. I was all in. I revealed every card in my hand, and I said, this is what I'm going to do. Come hell or high water. I don't care. You know how many people I lost getting married? Oh, the people that had so much to say about my marriage. I didn't care. It wasn't important to them. It was important to me and my wife. And that was all that mattered. And, you know, it's tough because you could be that bad person. But I couldn't do it, man. My parents weren't together, and it was very important that I had that perfect relationship, or just a good, loving, healthy relationship. I didn't need much. I didn't ask for much. I'm a simple guy. I just wanted my person, and I think we all want just our person to just be on our level. Like, if I'm going to scratch your back today, come on, help me out tomorrow. I might have a bad day. You know, I try to do as much as I can for everyone else because, you know, I did it for a lot of years. And let me tell you something. The last 2 years, Ira, I cashed in on all the favors I've done. I needed some favors for me now. And people looked out for me. Good people looked out for me. Not many, but the few good people that looked out for me, they will never be forgotten. Absolutely. And I hold them dear to my heart. Very dearly. But, yeah, the relationship, I don't know. I again, by nature, I'm one of those, I'm an over-communicator by nature. I like to communicate. If there's a problem, I want to talk about it. If everything's good, how do we make it better?
Okay.
You know?
I mean, that was very similar to when you worked at GNC. Same conversations.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I knew how to, I am very good at manipulating things for the good. For the good. And it shouldn't be.
So why don't we replace the word manipulate with craft? Because manipulate, when we use it in terms, is always going to be received as a negative. Whereas, you know, you try to spin it into a positive, it can always be spun the wrong way and always be received the wrong way. So why don't we change that to, you know, you've crafted.
Now I sound like an architect. And frankly, I'm not concerned with
someone. You are an architect.
Look, I'm not concerned with someone taking what I'm saying out of context, okay? I've manipulated things for a good purpose. A good, well-rounded purpose. Anyone that has something to say about that, let me tell you something. They've probably manipulated things for bad reasons. If they have anything to say about me, because it's just not me. You could paint whatever picture you would like. I'm not artsy craftsy, so I can't go with the craft idea. But
I mean, since I've known you, you've always been a straight shooter.
And it makes my life easier. I've gone through way too much to want to make my life harder. I want my life to be easier. I want things to be easier. I want them to be better. I want things to be smoother. I want things to make more sense.
God, that makes two of us.
How do we get to that point in our relationships, Ira?
Honestly, dude, I don't know. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, I'm fucking at a point with myself right now where it's just like, my brain is failing me because there's just so many fucking complications in every single fucking day. And it's like, on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. Like, I mean, it's wearing me down, man.
It wears us all down, dude. It wears us all down.
Wearing me down in a very bad way.
Well, you said you weren't having such a great day, and I heard it. I heard it.
I mean, I woke up that way, man. Like, it's something that, you know, I've dealt with ever since I was a kid. You know, and one thing that I do try more so now is to not be as widely open about it, because when I'm openly wide about it, I get animated or I piss people off and then they retaliate.
Okay. Well, luckily we're on the podcast, so we don't have to worry about any of that bullshit. Right? But it is very much so real. That I understand. Weather's
Yeah, they
shitty.
can relate with us.
Weather's shitty, and so is everyone else's day. Oh, Nick. Yeah, it seems like everyone's having a day. I told you I was in a mood earlier. I mean, you know, talking about Danielle doesn't exactly put me in the best of mood either.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt when I used to talk about Kelly, because, I mean, when you want to talk about textbook narcissist, she takes the cake along right there with Danielle.
And I hate
both of them are 100% alike.
Yeah, I hate to label someone that way, but I had to do that, and I'm sure you did the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. I had to label Danielle something to kind of cope with what happened to my wife.
You made it understandable to yourself.
Yes, it's mainly for me. It's not for anyone else, but it's for me to cope with, because this was my life. Danielle was my life. I loved her to death. I wanted the best for her. I still do.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, and you still do, because, I mean, you still answer her calls,
yes,
knowing full well, you know, it potentially is going to be an argument. It's potentially going to be some bullshit.
Yes.
You know it's not a phone call to ask how your day's going.
I don't think Danielle ever called me and asked how my day was going. If she did, I used to say to her, Danielle, just surprise me for once. Just surprise me. Like, call me and say, like, hello, or, like, you know, I miss you or something. Or
no, I mean, her surprises were sleepwalking.
Well, Danielle did do, and it was adorable. Okay, it was adorable. I felt so bad when it would happen, but I'd be like, Danielle, you got to go back to bed, man. You know, this isn't the bathroom. But not to get too personal, you know, I have to put that label on her, because it is the most accurate representation of what I can make out in my brain to cope with what happened to my wife. To think she's this grandioso narcissist is like, and you have to dig into that. Are you dealing with a narcissist? What is a narcissist? A narcissist, I mean, could be a million things. If you break it down.
Well, I mean, there's no clear-cut answer to what a narcissist is.
And it's very common,
if you go through the psychology of it, and then also you go down to the definition, then you go down to, you know, the mannerisms, the list is endless, man. It's completely endless, because I've looked it up, because a lot of the same thoughts that you were having, you know, in this relationship, you know, when I had gotten out of prison, I was dealing with my own relationship shit, you know, because I was, you know, I was talking about it. And the thing is like,
very similar.
My own research. And I had to do my own research as to narcissism, and you know, I'm going down this checklist, and I'm not doing it so much to put a label on it. I'm doing it because I'm trying to understand. You know, because one thing is I don't just give up on people. You know, I try to give every opportunity. I try to learn, because I know I am not the smartest person on the planet. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm attuned in a much different way than a lot of other people are.
Yeah.
And so what my perception of something might not be, you know, the image that they're trying to project, but it's how I'm interpreting it. So I will go and do my own research to maybe understand somebody better, you know, and I tried to make that work when I was with Kelly, you know, and constantly accusing me of cheating, constantly of this, that.
Were you cheating?
No, she was. That's the.
Did she have any grounds? Did she have any grounds for those type of allegations? Because those are serious allegations. Because
I friended a couple women that I grew up with on Facebook.
So harmless.
James is on. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm seeing a lot popping up on there, but the phone's pretty far away. My eyesight's as bad as.
Well, I actually have my comments on. Like, I don't know how it worked, but they're popping up. So it's like I'm gonna enjoy the comments, because I've gone 8 podcasts with no comments.
You struck a nerve there, Ira. You don't just give up on people.
Yeah.
and I don't want to get sappy at all, but that's something that means a lot to me because, and that was important in my relationship with everybody. I'll never just give up. I'm not that son of a bitch. I'm sorry. People are like, oh, fuck that bitch. You got no idea. You got no idea. And it starts with your mindset, of course. But yes. You can. How could you? How dare you? But I had so many people give up on me my entire life that it's like encrypted into my brain that I am never allowed to give up on people. Ever. And if I do give up on you, if I walk away from you, I'm done. That's fucking it, man. I packed my briefcase. I've got my whole book of files of this is what you did wrong, because I have to make it. I have to like literally plead a case in my head, and I think it's common for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I have to plead this case in my head. Okay, Mr. Cassess, this is defendant. This is the, you know, how do you plead? Well, this person's going to plead guilty. Well, why? Because, well, there's 8,000 million documents that say this person is not a good person, and you have to walk away. Because you could burn me once, you could burn me twice. It just, I'm retarded. I don't get it, I guess. I'm just like, I'll get it. I mean,
people do stupid shit, you know? Like, and the thing is, though, is if you have good communication with your friends and your loved ones, you know, you get past shit. Like, and
yeah.
even with some shit that feels like you just can't come back from, you know, simple communication could repair that.
Yeah.
Or at least, you know, bridge the gap of the anger and just let that dissipate. So therefore you can move on.
Yeah, communication is so, people think nothing of communication. But communication, I think, could fix a lot of things. Over communication could probably stir up some issues, but you know, if you keep it balanced and whatnot, you know, you could hash out a lot of shit and move past it. You know, the things I went through with Danielle, we could have probably moved past a lot of it. The money wasn't important. The high rise in the city wasn't important.
Oh my God, that was so nice.
The
only thing I hated about that place was the fucking circle that I could not get out of.
Yeah, you and everyone else. You should have seen me driving through there on a Friday. I was just like, get the fuck out of the way! Like,
I see you on your bike.
It was a real, but those things meant nothing. If I could have.
Hold on. One thing I gotta let everybody know. Anthony used to park his bike when he first got it in his living room. In the living room.
The bike meant a lot to me, but that was another thing that broke the camel's back, Ira. You know,
yeah, I'm aware. Trust me. I had a lot of phone calls behind that one.
But
while I was at work, while I was on a date, while I was doing a lot of stuff.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. The point of talking about the relationships, though, is very clear. I hope that it sheds some light for people, because at the moment when I was losing my mind, I didn't see light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't think it was possible. I really thought I was not going to make it, and it was going to be game over. Who said that? I can't see.
Nick.
What did Nick say?
The bike deserves a nice, comfy home just as much as he does.
Nick.
Oh, look, I agree. It's just like I ended up getting the phone call when it was in the living room.
Yeah, Nick is again one of my #1 supporters. All my love goes out to him and his beautiful wife Cassie. They are amazing, and they treat me far too well. But I mean, if it wasn't for people like them and like you, Ira, and you know, a handful of other folks, I probably would have never made it through the last 2 years of my life. Now, mind you, I've been single since. I haven't been with anybody. I've been a very lonely son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
I've been okay with that because I've been repairing. I've spent a lot of time repairing. Before we get too far into that, kind of the.
Well, I mean, that could be the topic for next week. From relationships, how do you repair?
Yeah, yeah, but you know, we're getting so ahead of ourselves. It's so exciting, though. I mean, relationships are great. Relationships are literally great. You get to get married or spend your life with somebody that means the world to you, and you get to do all this great shit together. Like I was in a relationship under that notion. I was like, cool. I bought a motorcycle. What'd I do a week later? I went and bought Danielle a motorcycle. I was like,
that she dropped like 4 times.
Well, we won't go into that, but we bought her a motorcycle. And I expected it to be dropped.
And you went as far as to tell me you're demanding me to buy a bike.
Yes, yes. It was important that, you know, I spent my life with her and we got to enjoy those things. It wasn't just about me. The motorcycle was the first thing in a long time. It was kind of like my midlife crisis because I was like, oh my God, I'm losing everything. I need to get something. Like for once in my life, I was like, okay, I'm not going to go on vacation. I'm going to go buy a physical object. I went and bought
I think I'm having a midlife crisis every single day then because I buy stuff out of emotional disrepair.
You are one of those people. Emotional disrepair. Poor guy. He's fucking shopping all day. It's okay, Ira. We expel our emotions in different ways. Okay. I'm more I'll hold it in until I self-destruct kind of guy, and you go shopping. It's okay.
Or I just lose my freaking mind and don't know where I'm at.
But we've all been there. It would be so naive to think that people have not been in that position of, oh my fucking God, this is the end.
Yeah.
It would be absurd to think that people have not experienced those traumatic events. But that's why I try to be, you know, and I preach it and I love it. Like, you got to be nice to people. It's just that simple. You got to be nice to people because things are fucked up as is. Like, one day you're going to be in that position and you're going to wish to God someone was good to you. And they're not going to because you kicked someone else while they were down.
You know, that's funny that you bring that up because I just had a little, one of those moments of clarity.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize this until just now. You know, even when people are pieces of shit to me, I'm still fucking nice and respectful to them.
It's because you're a good person.
Like, I don't know how I ended up being that way because, you know, let's rewind 10, 12 years ago. Like, I was a little motherfucker. You know, and now it's like, when it's motherfuckers, in my brain, I'm pissed off, I'm angry, I want to flip out. But, like, what comes out is a please and thank you.
What do you think there's something wrong with that? Do you feel like maybe you're not
wrong with it? I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's just something I never really thought about. Like, I don't know how that became me. I'm happy that it is because the thing is, I do feel that everybody should be treated with respect.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, you don't have to necessarily be please and thank you kind of bullshit. I mean, you could say what you want and still be respectful. I think it's really important to say what you want. I'm not just talking out of your ass, like, hey, whatever, you know, like, I'm talking be respectful. If someone's being an asshole to you, like, you don't necessarily have to jump down their throat, but you can, like, kindly say, like, you know, go fuck yourself. Goodbye. See you later. You don't belong here. And I've done that.
That's like dealing with Karens. You know, I'm a manager, and I got to deal with Karens all the freaking time. And it's like, I want to yell at them, but it's like, I can't. And I don't mean I can't because I'm not allowed to. I mean, I can't. I physically cannot. Like, I just.
Yeah, it's rough. It's hard to deal with people because you don't know what kind of day people are having. And you know, if you get me on a bad day, you're going to get a very, very specific kind of...
Oh, I've had you on your bad day. Trust me, I already fucking know what wrath you unleash.
Yeah, I try to ground myself before I take it out on other people because I have this extreme sense of awareness or connecting with people that I feel bad if I hurt someone else's day. It'll fucking make my day even worse.
It does the same to me. You know, and I keep making my own days worse. Like, I made today worse because I was a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
And, you know, that energy translates to other people, and then it changes their energy, and then their energy projects back to you, and then
it's just a whole bad clusterfuck of things that it's like, oh my God, it's like you give it. Look, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. I believe that very strongly. You can look up a million different reports on it. We cherry pick the things in our lives that our brain wants. We cherry pick it. So if we're giving out bad energy, we're only gonna fucking get it. Seriously. So and you don't have to be corny about it. Like, oh, today's a good day. Like, okay, today's a shitty day, but like I'm gonna try to make it a good day because like I don't want to have a crappy day. And I think that's a very simple mindset to be in, but we've gotten so far away from our initial conversation.
I kind of steered us in a little bit of a different direction.
And that's okay, but you know, what else do you think could help a person in a relationship, Ira? What do you think I can offer a person that might be able to help it? Because I said it to you on the phone earlier. I'm no Cupid, okay? I'm no love doctor. I don't have the answers. I'm not a trained psychologist. I'm not a brainiac, but I have a shit ton of experience with people and life and things that really truly matter. And it was important to talk about the relationship because I've been wearing it. I've been wearing it. It's been baggage. It's been weighing me down, and I only noticed that recently. You know, so I've been divorced. I've been divorced since December of 2020, right? Yeah. I've been separated.
It's been that long?
I guess. We were separated for months prior. So probably, I don't know, November? It's been a while. But for these, my point is...
I didn't find out until late then. Like, really late.
No way.
It was way after January.
No way.
I knew there was trouble in paradise. I just didn't know you guys were separated and divorced by December.
Well, maybe you didn't, Ira. I wasn't very vocal about it.
December is when I came out to New York.
I need to look at my timelines. My timelines aren't always right, so... but now you fucking totally derailed me, man.
I'm good at that. My dad will tell you I'm good at derailing.
I mean,
I don't mean to do it. It's something I just have a habit of doing.
I have ADD to begin with. You know how hard it is for me to stay focused on a fucking idea and get a whole idea across.
Do I have any idea? I left the fucking laundry in the dryer. When I went in the dryer and pulled the laundry out, and I still forgot it. And I feel like shit right now because I know I forgot the laundry in the dryer again.
You know what's good about that, though?
I did some dumb shit.
You can still take the laundry out of the dryer.
Oh, I know. Like,
it's not over.
Actually, no. I'm on a podcast. Just had to go back to the laundromat and go get it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, damn. I feel like shit because of that. Like,
damn.
But it's like my brain keeps failing me, and it's like I'm trying not to focus on the fact that, you know, I have this problem. But I mean, it's getting worse and worse.
You have to focus on it, dude. If you try to fucking brush it off, the last week where I was really thinking about Danielle. I was really giving her a lot more energy the last week than I should have been. I had to. I really had to. If I just tried to kick it under the rug, think of the problems that I've had with her that will creep up on me a year or two from now. Maybe I'm going to meet Mrs. Right again, you know? Do I want those problems creeping into my new relationship? Hell no. Fuck no. You're out of your mind. So you have to acknowledge those things, dude. Especially if you know you're going through some shit. We all do.
I mean, we're definitely at our time.
Already? I feel like we should have at least another hour left, Ira. Anyway, to bring it home, I had a lot of bad days in my relationship with her. But man, the few good days that I remember vividly made it fucking last. It made it perfect. And what I learned about love the last year now, love is not meant to make sense. So if
it never will. It never will.
I'm a practical person, but love does not make sense. It's not meant to. Don't make it try to make sense. Okay? If you're in a relationship and it feels right, go with your gut. If it feels like things are going wrong, go with your gut. That's my advice for people, because you might be going through hell, but I think everyone deserves a partner when you're going through hell.
And here's the part that is important with that: a partner. All right, and when you feel like you're going through hell, you know, and you got your partner, communicate, because 90% of relationships end up fucking going to shit because of bad or lack of communication. And no matter how much communicating one person can do, if it's not being if the other person is not being receptive to that, you know, then, and you're doing everything in your power to try and rectify it, but you're not getting met in the middle, you know, that right there should be your indicator that, you know, either it's being taken for granted, or you're being taken for a ride, or they just don't give a fuck enough about what's going on to want to meet you in the middle. And, you know, and if you have that type of individual in your life, you know, you got to give them the ultimatum, either shape up or ship out.
My relationship, you said, you nailed it. My relationship had its downfalls, and it had a lot to gain. We didn't get divorced because the love wasn't there anymore. We were in love. We loved each other, but it failed.
Each other too much.
We failed each other in ways, and I would definitely say the lack of communication or over communication may have played a big part in that. But the love was there. And imagine walking away from someone you love. You might have to do it at some point.
I've been there, so I've definitely been there.
Yeah, a lot of people have. And you have, if you find yourself in a position where you think you might have to do that, you really will never be the same. You will never be the same person. I'm sorry. You will never be the same if you have to voluntarily walk away from somebody you love for, you know, whatever other reasons there may be. So, Ira, it's been a great podcast. I loved getting to talk to you. We didn't talk much the last, you know, week or so. We've been busy. You've been busy. I've been busy.
I mean, I've been busy in Staten Island, man.
Ira's in a new store.
You know how it goes when you take over a store.
Ira's in a new location for GNC, doing what he does best, being a rock star, so I expect nothing less. He's in Staten Island now.
Freaking best store. I got the best people, and I am going to have the best looking store visually.
Well, because you had the best trainer, right, Ira?
Absolutely. Not to mention we got Santos watching. I had to work by his side for a little while, too.
Yes. Ira, you got my vote. The New Yorkers are going to love you, okay? So, please.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Where's the coffee? Where's the water? You're in Staten Island, baby. Staten Island.
I'm the king of Staten Island.
You're not the king of Staten Island. You're king of GNC.
Now.
Anyway, be sure to follow us, guys. On Blast Official, Facebook and Instagram. TikTok, you'll find us at OB Podcast.
OB Podcast.
A little different, but, you know, it's so competitive out there. It's hard to get the names you want. So next week, we're going to be diving into our big 420 week. Woo! Me and Ira have some great ideas, and we are so excited to share with everybody. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be light. This one was deep. Next week's going to be light. We are so excited. Ira, it's always a pleasure talking to you. My love goes out to you. I hope you have a better fucking day. I think you will now.
Dude, I never realized I make some really creepy looking faces.
You do. You should rewatch the videos. You might.
Oh, no, I do, but I just realized I make some really creepy faces, and I really need to stop doing that.
Well, stop doing that then. Because it's weird. So stop doing it. Or maybe do it more because it is weird. Who knows? Whatever makes you happy is what you've got my support with. Whatever makes you happy.
Yay!
All right, Ira. Till next week, guys. We are on blast. It's been real, as always.